Let's go over the Wi-Fi power glitch. Some tips on how to get it done quick, efficiently, make it as simple as possible, and some tips on what not to do and what can cause a crash to desktop. So as you can see here, I've just put down a little prefab. We've put some lights inside of it so that you can see when this whole thing lights up. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to create a little area that's going to make it super easy to do this glitch. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a structure that's conducive to what we need to do. We need to have certain lines of sight that will help us do this in a much easier fashion. So I found that this is pretty much the easiest way to do this. We're just going to do a quick little structure, and it doesn't take much. But we want to make sure that we're close enough to things. We want to make sure that we have the correct angles for things. So this is all we really need. Now, I strongly recommend that you do not do this glitch directly to a source of power, meaning don't do it to a generator. And I'm going to explain why. So first, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the glitch, and I'm going to show it to you hooked up to a power generator and explain why you should never do that. So let's say in the beginning, you can only afford to do a small little generator, which that's pretty normal, but you still want to be able to get power everywhere. Now, the main thing that we need is we need our power source, and then we're going to need a conduit on the floor here, and the reason for this is so that there's distance so that we can stand between the wire itself and the object. And what I mean by that is we're going to make this conduit up here Wi-Fi power, which means it's not going to have any wires. So what we do to start is we're going to go from the power source down to this one on the floor. And that's all fine and good. That's all normal. Then what we're going to do is we're going to stand between the wire and the generator. Now you'll notice that it does not prompt you to press the space bar to attach a wire like it does with any of the other things. Right here it says space, attach wire. Even though it doesn't say you can do it, you still can do it. So if you listen, you'll hear the spark. Once you hear that spark, you're connected in this wireless sort of fashion. You can still hear it sparking a little. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the wire again, but this time to the power conduit. Now you see how it says power conduit? That we're focused on that. That's not right. You need to go so you're focused on the wire, but the conduit is still behind the wire. Now we're going to attach it to the conduit using the space bar again. I believe if you're using a controller, it's triangle for PS4 or Y for Xbox controllers or Steam controller. So now you see the wire has jumped. This is now Wi-Fi. So we can now store the wire. And this is now conducting electricity. So we can bring it in here, and you'll see we have the lights all lined up. And as we get closer, the lights light up. So now we can just put this here. We could even put it on the outside so you don't even see it. And everything is lit up. Now, the reason why you should not use a direct connection to your power, let's say we don't need that anymore, is because, let's say I want to upgrade my power. And maybe I've leveled up a bit and I want a big generator. Now, I could just put another generator and daisy chain it. But what if I don't want to have a whole bunch of generators? Maybe I just want this one mega generator. If I get rid of this generator, all of the Wi-Fi power is connected to that generator. Even though you don't actually see the wire in the game itself believes that there's a wire connecting those. So even though it's still lit up now, it's because it's glitched. And if I was to try to add any lights, or if I was to use a switch or anything else that changes the power, you'll see they go out because there's no longer actually power. So because this thing is now dead. So now let's go back over here and I'll show you how you should do it, and I'll explain why. So let's go back to the same thing where we have a small generator. So we just put this little guy over here. But now, instead of going directly to the generator, let's go to a switch. So we'll put the switch here, and then the rest of the setup is the same. We're going to put this right here so we need to be able to get the angle so we can see through the cable, through the wire. And at this point, we're just going to wire the generator straight to this, just like normal. And now we're going to do our Wi-Fi glitch, but instead of going directly to the generator, we're going to do everything through this switch. So I go from the switch to the conduit on the floor, and then I'm going to look through the wire. So you see it's focused on the wire, and I'm going to connect a wire. You hear it spark. And then I'm going to go through the wire again towards the conduit, and you'll see the wire has jumped. Now, I can store the wire, and I can take this, and we'll bring it back into here, and everything lights up again. So now, let's say that you want to swap out your power. Let's say you're done with the small generator. We're now going to upgrade to the mega generator. If I get rid of this, you'll notice that all the lights have gone out. But all of your Wi-Fi power conduits are connected to the switch, not the power source. So now we can get our good giant generator, connect this back up to here to our switch, and our switch is controlling all of our Wi-Fi, and you'll see all of our lights are on again. And the other cool thing about this is when you're in here, you can turn off your switch and all of your power to your entire settlement is switched off. Now, you can mix and match everything. So I'm going to show you how to do some other items. I'm just going to move this sort of out of the way so we don't really have to hear it. Now let's take a look at some other things, such as, let's say I need something that requires direct power, and I'm going to use a cycling light. Now this needs a direct line of power. I can't use a conduit for this, but I can still use Wi-Fi power. So I'm going to put one of these on the ceiling. That's why we put that little section there. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go from the switch to conduit on the floor. Then we're going to look through the wire at the switch, attach the wire, and then we're going to look at the cycling light through the wire and attach the wire. And now we have Wi-Fi power to our light. I'm going to bring this over here. I was just looking at it, and I see that it's off. And the reason it's off is because our switch is off. So we turn our switch back on, and there we go. So direct power is possible using the Wi-Fi power glitch. And you can also hook up, you can do anything like this. Let's hook up another switch. So let's say we have a room, or you just want specific control over the lights in one particular room. We put down the switch, we do the same thing. We go from the switch to the floor, look through the wire to the switch, then look through the wire to what we want to be Wi-Fi. The wire jumps, we store the wire, and now this switch can control whatever you like. It can control anything that you put on it. So let's take it over here real quick. Let's say this house, I want Wi-Fi power. And so on the inside here, let's put some lights. So we'll just put some right here on the front porch. Now this switch will control just those lights, and these lights over here are unaffected because the switch is radiating power. Now if you wanted that switch to be able to operate a specific light that needs direct power while still being Wi-Fi, you would have to essentially set it up as 3 different steps, meaning this is going to be a little complicated. This is probably more for advanced users. But what you would do is you take a switch, and then we're going to do the same thing where we're going to connect it here. We're going to get the switch so that the switch is Wi-Fi. Like that. Then we're going to store this. Then we'll take this switch, and then we'll go from this switch to the conduit, and then we'll say this light again. And then we're going to do the same thing where we go through the wire to this switch, and then we're going to go through the wire to the light, and you'll see it has jumped. And see, it's on this one now, not this one. So we're going to store that in the workshop. And now I'm going to just move the switch over here a little bit, and you'll be able to see that I can now put this light anywhere I want. In fact, I'll put it right here. Right about there. And then we'll switch the color on it so we can make sure we see it. So it's red. And now this switch here will turn off that light. So we switch off here, and the light is off. And we switch it back on, and the light comes on. So that's how you can do Wi-Fi power. So I want to talk now about what not to do, what you should avoid doing while you are performing this glitch, because it is a glitch, which means that things can happen if you do it the wrong way. The first thing that I want to talk about is why do we go from the switch or the power source down to this one first instead of going from this one up to the switch. The reason for that is if you go from here to the switch, when you delete the conduit here, it will affect all the lights that you wired up Wi-Fi because of the way the wire is jumping, because this is A to B. When it jumps, it's going from A to B. I know it's a little weird to get your head around, but you want the switch to be A and this to be B. And then so when it jumps, this becomes A and the Wi-Fi thing becomes B. And the reason for that is if you delete this one, having done it the other way, some of your lights may stop working. Some of your conduits, that is, the Wi-Fi power, will stop working. So that's why we go from the switch or the power source down to this before making the jump into the Wi-Fi power. Now the other thing that can be a problem is if we're carrying this around and we need to jump. Let's say you've got some kind of thing in your settlement, some sort of a gap in your build, and you need to get up on something, and normally you would jump. If you're carrying one of these, especially once it's been converted to Wi-Fi, do not jump. Make sure you can get to where you need to get to without jumping, or place it, do your jump, and then pick it up again. And the reason for that is if you try to jump, it will try to connect a wire like this. Now this can sometimes cause the game to crash. Sometimes it will just outright crash when that happens, when you hit the space bar. Other times it won't crash until you try to cancel it. Sometimes it does perfectly fine. I have not actually converted this one to Wi-Fi, so because I don't want to crash. I'm just trying to explain it to you. So, but sometimes it can definitely cause you problems. So make sure that you can walk everywhere that you need to go, or like I say, place it, do your jump, whatever you need to do, and then pick it up again. You can use this for everything. Let's say, just so you know, let's say I want a terminal, and I want my terminal to be Wi-Fi. It just needs an exact connection, just the way we did the light. So we're going to start from the switch, down here, and get the right one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our glitch through here, and then the wire, need to make sure we're connected to the wire. Saw the wire jump, now it is Wi-Fi. And what's nice about this is I can put this anywhere I want. Doesn't matter where, anywhere, because the game believes it's connected. And the great thing about this, if we have this on the Switch and everything else that's on our Switch, what's great about this is this terminal is connected to everything in our settlement because it's on the same circuit as that switch. So if we go in here, we can see the switch control. So we have a couple of different switches and light box, which is the colors for the cycling light. So this can really be useful for pretty much everything that you want to build. Let's say, for example, you want to do some manufacturing, and the machinery, of course, costs energy, and it needs direct energy. We can accomplish the exact same thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna store that in the roof for right now. I just want to show you what you can actually accomplish with this. I don't know why this is being so finicky. Let's put it right here. Now, so we're gonna do the same thing, where we're gonna go from the switch to the floor, and then we're gonna go look through the wire, and then this may be too far, but we'll see. It jumped. So now it jumped, which means this is now on Wi-Fi power. You can still hear the machine running. So now we can put this anywhere we want with no wires. And the best part about it is because it's all on the same thing, it's connected to our terminal. I want to give a huge shout out to the Skooled Zone for making this glitch known. I'm not sure on the specifics of how this glitch was found, probably through a combination of many happy accidents. I'll leave links to his channel down below. If you want to check out his video on Wi-Fi power, I've linked it on the info button at the top right of this video and in the description. Skooled Zone, all I can say is thank you. Seriously, thank you to all those involved in discovering and publicizing this amazing find. Finally, powering settlements is hassle-free. I hope you enjoyed this Fallout 4 tutorial how to quickly and easily do the Wi-Fi power glitch. If you found this episode insightful or helpful, leave a like and subscribe for more. Are you going to use Wi-Fi power in your next settlement build? Let me know and leave any comments or suggestions down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Dashpot out.